स्वामिन्नमस्ते नतलोकबन्धो कारुण्यसिन्धो पतितं भवाब्धौ मामुद्धरात्मीयकटाक्षदृष्ट्या ऋज्व्यातिकारुण्य सुधाभिवृष्ट्या स्वामिन्नमस्ते 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 स्वामिन्नमस्ते। यत्कीर्तनं यत्स्मरणं यदीक्षणं यद्वन्दनं यत्श्रवणं यदर्हणं लोकस्य सद्यो विधुनोति कल्मषं तस्मै सुभद्रश्रवसे नमो नमः। विचक्षणाय चरणोपसादनात् संगं व्युदस्योभयतोऽन्तरात्मनः विन्दन्ति हि ब्रह्मगतिं गतक्लमाः तस्मै सुभद्रश्रवसे नमो नमः। शृण्वन् सुभद्राणि रथाङ्गपाणेः जन्मानि कर्माणि च यानि लोके गीतानि नामानि तदर्थकानि गायन् विलज्जो विचरेदसङ्गः एवं व्रतः स्वप्रियनामकीर्त्या जातानुरागो द्रुतचित्त उच्चैः हसत्यथो रोदिति रौति गायति उन्मादवत् नित्यति लोकबाह्यः। खं वायुमग्निं सलिलं महीं च ज्योतींषि सत्त्वानि दिशो द्रुमादीन् सरित्समुद्रांश्च हरेः शरीरं यत्किञ्च भूतं प्रणमेदनन्यः। भक्तिः परेशानुभवो विरक्तिः अन्यत्र चैष त्रिक एककालः प्रपद्यमानस्य यथाश्नतः स्युः तुष्टिः पुष्टिः क्षुदपायोऽनुघासम् इत्यच्युताङ्घ्रिं भजतोऽनुवृत्त्या भक्तिर्विरक्तिर्भगवत्प्रबोधः भवन्ति वै भागवतस्य राजन् ततः परां शान्तिम् उपैति साक्षात् ततः परां शान्तिम् उपैति साक्षात्। जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु। My prostrations to my Guru Swami Bhumananda Tirtha Ji Maharaj. My prostrations to Lord Krishna, who has manifested in my Guru, and my prostrations to all of you devotees who have come here to listen to the glories of the Lord Shri Krishna, and you are coming day after day and with lot of devotion hearing about him. Actually, before I start, I would like to tell you that this time I never thought that I'll be able to speak. Many of you know, many of you may not know also, that last year, on this day when I was giving a lecture, I had a first attack of brain hemorrhage. I carried on, not knowing what it was. But on the Vishnu Sahasranama day, as soon as I came up to the stage and I started chanting, and that day I had brought a collection of shlokas on Krishna and Vishnu, which I very fondly used to chant from my young age. And I was chanting them, and I had the hemorrhage. It was severe, and I felt right at that time that we have heard and we get news in the newspaper that while giving lecture, some people die. Maybe my condition is also like that. Somehow, I got up and took some medicine of headache and carried through those 5 hours till the Vishnu Sahasranama was over. I thought it was a migraine, and so we did nothing. That day passed. Next day evening, I was taken to the hospital, and it was found out. After that, in this 1 year, I would say, I have improved a lot. This hemorrhage, the doctor said, 50% people die. Most of the people, if they do not die, they get paralyzed. By the grace of God and grace of my Guru, I came out unscathed. And today I am here to talk. Still, I have some difficulties. You must be seeing that all the lights are off. I'm not able to tolerate much of light, much of sound, much of crowd. All those things, all difficulties are there. So I told the Satra Samiti this time that I will not speak. But our Vijay Kumarji said, no, ma, let your name be there, and at the last moment you see whether you can speak or not. And our Vijayan Menonji also said, no, please try. We will do everything that is necessary. So they all decided to switch off lights and keep the sounds also minimum. And here am I. Another thing which has happened to me is that, for these Bhagavata Satram talks, I used to have very, very beautiful moments when I would prepare the talk. I used to read the Bhagavatam over and over, select some very good shlokas, and then a theme would be given to me and I would talk on that. Now, it has become very difficult for me after this disease. I'm not able to go deep into anything, find out something, and have a format or a structure, or to prepare a lecture. All those things have become very difficult. So they said, whatever you may feel like, you talk. You don't have to prepare anything. And I thought, okay, let me try that way. I can always speak about my feelings about my Lord. So the topic has been given, in the company of my Lord. So this talk will be something, a journey of a devotee. How a devotee goes forward in the path of devotion. And maybe it is my story. I feel a little shy maybe. Please do not think I'm talking about myself. I want to talk about my Lord and how the little girl that I was, I came to know from elders, especially mother, grandmother, that there is a supreme power. God is there. God creates this whole world and every creature. And we must have faith in God. We must love God. These are the things we grow up with. I think all of you must have grown up with. So I too has been growing up like that. By birth, I'm a Bengali. And in Bengal, mostly Durga, Kali, Shiva, they are worshipped. Krishna also is worshipped. But mostly it is Durga. But when I think now, I find that how the culture grows, how the culture is preserved in every part of our country. How did we know the stories of all the deities that we worship? So I too came to know about the stories of how Krishna was born, how his parents were imprisoned, how Vasudeva left him in Nandagopal's house. All these stories we have learned from childhood. My mother used to sing a song which I used to like very much. It is in Bengali, but I'll tell you the meaning. The devotee is saying, "Oh Krishna, oh my Lord, just like you were born in Yashoda, you were born to Devaki, and Yashoda brought you up in Nandagopal's house, will you not take birth again and come? Will you not be like that as you had been stealing butter earlier? Will you not be coming like that again?" So I used to like that song very much. And the picture of Krishna, I think all of us know. When we see the picture of the small Krishna stealing butter or anything that he is doing, it brings about a melting feeling in the heart. How does it happen? Who is he? The name is that he attracts everybody. So that was the attraction, not more than that. And about Bhagavata, I came to know first when I was in Kharagpur, which is near Calcutta. You know, our Swamiji, Bhumananda Swamiji, my guru, he has been going to Jamshedpur every year. This was the 52nd year that he has been going without any break. So whenever he would come to Jamshedpur, from Kharagpur we used to go and meet him. So there used to be 2 sessions of his lectures. One used to be early in the morning at 5:45 in the morning, and another in the evening. So once I went for that 5:45 morning lecture. I cannot explain to you how beautiful it was early in the morning. It was just, the day was breaking. Everything was very quiet and people had gathered. It was being held in somebody's house. And I also went and sat there. Swamiji came to that hall from his room. He was in fresh dress with a fresh tilak. He was looking very beautiful and bright and brilliant. He sat down. And then I understood he's taking a text called Uddhava Gita. And while taking the text, you may be knowing that Uddhava Gita, it is the last message of Krishna to Uddhava, his friend, his follower. Where, when Uddhava comes to know that Sri Krishna is going back to heaven, to meet all the devas and gods and goddesses where from he had come, Uddhava is crying and saying that I cannot stay without you. We have been playing together, eating together, sitting together, walking together. And when you change your dress, I wear it. We have been so close to each other. How can I now be here without you? And Swamiji was chanting that famous verse which Uddhava says weepingly, Naham tavangri kamalam Shanardhamapi Keshava Tyaktum samutsahe natha Swadhamanayamamapi. And he made us chant it. What does it say? O Lord, I cannot stay even half a moment without you. So wherever you are going, please take me. I cannot remain without you. You know, that was a time when I was in the stage where I think it was God's grace and Guru's blessings. There was a lot of opportunity for me to do sadhana. So I was in the intense sadhana and always thinking, how will I grow in devotion? How will I always remember God? Our mind goes here and there. Our mind is so restless. We think of God for some time, and rest of the time our mind is attracted to the worldly things. So I was in such a state that I used to think, how will I always remember God? What is that sadhana, or what is that discipline by which I can? So when I heard this shloka, I felt that, oh, a true devotee should cry like this. I am thinking that I am a devotee. I am thinking that I am pursuing the path of devotion and I am progressing in my devotion. But if I look at my mind, can I say this shloka truly? Can I say that, oh Lord, I am not able to stay without you even for half a moment? Can I say that? No. I found that I cannot. My mind has other attractions, other things which I like. It went very deep into my mind. And I understood that here is a text which says what a devotee should be. You know, very soon, Swamiji, Bhumananda Swamiji, he told me that you leave your job and don't take up any job anymore by choice. He had told me so. And he had asked me to read Bhagavatam. That is how I started reading Bhagavatam. I did not know much of Sanskrit, a little bit. So I bought one dictionary and every day I will start reading Bhagavatam. And I would be reading it with a lot of interest. It was to be very difficult to chant, pronounce, and understand where the words will be broken. It was very difficult. But in a very studious manner, I started reading it. And I found that as it says, it is swadu swadu pade pade, swadu swadu dine dine. It is so nectarine, as if you squeeze any word, honey and nectar will fall on you. So I started reading, and as I read on, and I read about Sri Krishna, his birth and everything, I started finding that my mind always is remaining whenever I am free in the mind, that is, whenever I am not reading anything or talking to somebody. Otherwise, when I am working or doing household work or walking, sitting for food, taking bath, my mind is having a feeling that, oh, Krishna is with me. And as if a little Krishna, he is walking along with me, going with me to the garden. When I pluck flowers from the garden, he started telling me, oh, this flower I want, that flower I want. No, I don't want that one. I want the small one. So I started feeling that he was there always with me. What are these feelings? I did not know. Many times in the evenings I used to sit in the veranda. There was a peepal tree in front of the house. I am telling you, again I want to tell you, because I myself find that this talk is very different from the talk that I used to give earlier. taking the text. This is somehow a story like telling. Do you like it? Do you like to hear this? Okay. Because I must feel that you are liking. So, there was a peepal tree. And that peepal tree, when new leaves would come, you must have watched, they are pink in color. And that shloka would come to my mind. Vatasya patrasya puteshayanam. So looking at that pink colored leaf, I would constantly think, oh, how that Krishna used to lie, and he would be taking his feet and suckling it. So the leaves of the peepal tree would start giving me thought of Krishna. The breeze that would blow, the other things in the nature, the birds, the butterflies, all used to give me a feeling of divinity at that time. So I would feel very happy. But besides that, along with that, I would find that many times my mind is remaining agitated, remaining depressed, remaining maybe grumbling for something or other. My mind is not peaceful. It is agitated, restless. So I used to think, even if I have these experiences for some time, it is not remaining with me. Then the feeling that I am seeing Krishna with me, the feelings that I am having for some time, how will I always have it? How will I always have the presence of Krishna in my mind or God in my mind? During such times, I used to, whenever Swamiji would come to Jamshedpur, we used to go to him, as I told you. I told Swamiji that he had told me to learn shlokas. So I started learning shlokas. At that time, hearing Swamiji one day told me, okay, you sing one shloka for me. So I chanted. And Swamiji laughed a lot and said, I will teach you some shlokas. 2 shlokas he taught me. Those I am going to tell you now. Those were from Bhagavatam, Mahatmyam. And it was wonderful. The first one was, Dehe sthimam sarudhire abhimatim tyajatvam jaya sutadishu sada mamatam vimuncha pasyanisham jagadidam shanabhanganishtham vairagya-ragarasiko bhava-bhakti-nishthaha dehe sthimam sarudhire abhimatim tyajatvam. Swamiji made me learn this shloka. It means deha asthi mamsa rudhira. That is the body, the bones, the flesh and the blood by which this body is made of. Abhimatim tyajatvam. Leave your attachment on this body which is made of bones and flesh and blood. See, if we see bones, if we see pieces of flesh or we see blood somewhere, we feel a little untouchable. We don't want to touch them. The same thing is there in our body, but the same body we are so much attached to. And we feel this body is I, and whatever belongs to me is mine. And we become attached. And all the suffering that I have is because of these attachments. So this sloka says, Dehe sthimamsa rudhire abhimatim tyajatvam jaya sutadishu sada mamatam vimuncha. And because of this I-ness, that I am this body, and the possessiveness about all that I possess, wife, children, house, money, wealth, gadgets, everything, name, fame, everything. We have mamata. We have lot of mindness, possessiveness and feeling of that these are mine. And we are always afraid if we lose these things, what will happen to us? So, mamatam vimuncha. So, this sloka is saying that don't be attached to your body. Also, don't be attached and be possessive about all that you have. Then what should we do? Pashyanisham jagadidam shanabhanganishtam. How can we not have mamata? How can we not have this I-ness? So the sloka is saying, Pashya anisham idam jagatam shanabhanganishtam. This jagat, the world, look at it always and know that it is always transitory and temporary. So, this is the sloka saying that understand that this world is temporary, transitory, impermanent. So, what we should do? Vairagya ragarasiko bhava bhakti nishthaha. So it says, you take to vairagya, dispassion. That is, understand that nothing is permanent in this world, nothing is going to give us permanent happiness, and become bhakti nishthaha. Now we are, nishtha is for what? Our nishtha is for the world. We are always looking at the world and trying to acquire either wealth or property or comfort or luxury or name or fame which belongs to the world and which will not remain. Impermanent they are. Instead, understand that you have to have vairagya towards them and become bhakti nishtha, have bhakti. So there is a word, vairagya raga rasikaha. You become a rasikaha, that is, enjoy vairagya. So when he taught me this, I thought, oh, can that be? That one likes vairagya? Why should one like vairagya? So I asked Swamiji, how can one become vairagi, Swamiji? Swamiji said, if you want to become dispassionate, love that quality. You will become dispassionate. And the second one is, dharmam bhajasva satatam tyaja loka dharman tejasva sadhu purushan jahi kama trishnam. That you must pursue dharma. Whatever is dharma, pursue that. Tyaja loka dharman. All these worldly things you renounce. Sevasva sadhu purushan. And you serve the Mahatmas. Jahi kama trishna. Serve sannyasins. Serve the gurus. Serve the Mahatmas, the realized souls. But how? Jahi kama trishna. That is, you should not have any desire when you go to them. People come, people do pranam. As they worship God near the idol, most of us, we pray, oh Lord, let me have health, let me have wealth, let my family be all right, let my daughter get married, let my son have a job. These are the things we always ask for. Similarly, when people come to a Mahatma, a sannyasi, they want blessings and they ask for the worldly things only. So in this sloka, it is being said that don't serve them with any desire. You just go and serve them because you like to serve. And anyasya dosha guna chintanam ashu muktva. Do not think bad about others. Do not find fault in others. Do not blame others. Seva katha rasamaho nitaram pibatvam. Read such books where life stories of Mahatmas are written. So this is what we should do. So these two shlokas, in the very beginning, Swamiji taught me from Bhagavata, saying that you chant this again and again, again and again. Very soon, the vairagya that was there, growing in the mind, it took to such shape that very soon we told Swamiji, that Swamiji, we would like to leave everything and come at your feet and serve you. Because chanting these slokas and many other slokas, where in the Bhagavatam also it is written, you serve the Gurus, serve the Guru and take instruction from them. So this mind started thinking, yes, we are listening to lectures, we are reading the Bhagavatam, but every Shastra, every scripture is telling, whether it is Upanishad, whether it is Bhagavad Gita, whether it is Bhagavatam, whether it is Yoga Vasishta, everything is saying that go and serve the realized souls, a Mahatma, preferably a Guru, and learn from them. Learn the scriptures from their mouth. From them you learn. Not only reading will not do. Only reading, only listening to lectures will not be there, not help you. You have to come and be with them, see them, learn from them. What is their life? How they live this life? They are realized souls. Realized souls means they have realized God. They have realized the self. So how they have realized? What is their nature? What is their characteristics? See that, learn that, then only you will be fulfilled and you will become full. This is all the message of all our scriptures. We miss them. We like only those places where it is very devotional, reading which tears will come to the eyes. We only like those places. We are not looking into these instructions of the scriptures where it says that you have to come to a realized soul, be with that person and learn from him. Maybe it was God's wish, that kind of a thought came, and it came at the feet of Swami Bhumananda Tirtha. That was in 1987. 30 years. I have lived in Kerala for 30 years. I am very sorry that I cannot still speak Malayalam in a fluent manner to give a talk in Malayalam. So that is my disqualification, I would say. But living in Kerala for 30 years continuously, this has become my home now. So I came to Swamiji and it was wonderful. I want to tell you, I have given the topic in the company of my Lord. It's not that when I came to my Guru, at that time alone I started feeling the company of my Lord very, very intensely. As I grew up, I have told you, I've grown up with the faith that God is there. I loved God. I had a habit of talking to God. My mother had given this habit to me. She said, you must pray to God and talk to God. So, as a child, whole day I will forget God. When I will go to sleep, I will remember that, oh, mother had told, so I have not prayed to him at all. So, lyingly I will talk to God and tell him something. If something would happen which would give me pain, or something which would give me happiness, that time also I would tell God. Especially before the exams, I will tell God that, see to it that I get very good marks. And so I had a Saraswati, small idol. So that used to remain in the shelf where I used to keep my books. So I will come to Saraswati and say, see that I get good marks. And I was a good student, so there was no difficulty for Saraswati to give me good marks. I was not a student who was not studying and asking Saraswati for good marks. So anyway, and this habit of talking to God, especially I found as I grew up, and interactions, friends, relatives, neighbors, so many interactions will be there, teachers. So whenever I would find that my behavior has not been up to the mark for myself, what I want my behavior to be, I have not been so. Or maybe I have become lazy, or I have not listened to my mother, or I have not helped somebody where a help was necessary, I would feel very sad. And then I would talk to God and ask Him how to become good. I would draw a picture of good me in my mind, the me which had all good qualities. But many times I slipped, and I used to talk to God and say that, when will that day come when I will have all the good qualities? When will that day come when I will never forget you? So this was my conversation with Him always. And now, when I came to my Guru, I had been in touch with him ever since I came to my Guru. Actually, I first met Swamiji's Guru, whom we call Baba. And after that, after 4 or 5 years, when Baba was in his deathbed, at that time I met Swamiji. And Baba told Swamiji that please take care of her spiritual progress. And ever since that time, I started writing to Swamiji. I was in Kharagpur at that time, before that in Calcutta, and Swamiji was in Kerala. So, ever since I knew a Guru, I have felt that he is my living God. All along, I was praying to idols, or maybe a picture in my mind. I did not know what these idols represent. I did not know what actually God looks like. But when I came to the Guru, and when I first came to know Baba, I just now told you that before Swamiji I came to know Baba, Swamiji's Gurudev. It happened that at that time I had written a letter to him, because I was feeling that the whole world is very transitory. And I was to feel that what is permanent in this world? Who will tell me? So my mind I had poured out to him in a letter, and he replied me within 7 days. You know, he was old, so his handwriting was very shaky. So when I opened the letter, I could not read, because I was so much feeling that he is my own, he has accepted me, he has taken me as his child. With that, tears flowed from my eyes and I could not read what he has written. But in those few sentences, he had given me the confidence. He said, there is no fear. God is within you, in your heart. So, by Guru, the term, I knew that Guru is living Lord. Baba used to guide me through letters, and subsequently, when Baba attained Mahasamadhi, Swamiji started giving me instructions through letters, and I would go and meet him whenever he would come to Jamshedpur, and ultimately decided, and Swamiji agreed, that we come to his feet. We came to serve him. To serve him. The love was so much for the Guru that I felt that I must come and serve him, make him free of all kind of work, let him only write and talk to people. Those days were very wonderful days. I was very young at that time, and the ashram, many of you have come to our ashram, many have not come. Ashram was a little Guru Griha, small place, and we were very few in the ashram. Swamiji had a table in the veranda, and in the midst of his work he would come sometimes call us and talk to us, and would talk about the self, the soul, God. He would tell and explain, and he will chant many shlokas, not only the shlokas from Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, from Yoga Vasishtha, from Vivek Chudamani or Shankaracharya's different kritis, all that he would chant. Even now I think our ashram is a place where shlokas have a very, very prominent place because Swamiji is a storehouse of all these shlokas. So I would tell Swamiji that Swamiji, I am not getting any time to meditate after coming here. I am not getting any time to read the Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita after coming here, because I am doing so much of other physical work to run the ashram. From morning till night, there will be work in the kitchen, there will be work to look after the garden, to look after the workers, to look after the devotees, and so many other things. So there would not be much time. Then Swamiji told me, you know what? He said, suppose a devotee is meditating and doing tapasya for attaining God, and after he has attained God, that is, maybe he has done tapasya for Sri Hari, and Sri Hari, with his grace, has taken him and allowed him to come to Vaikuntha. So the devotee has reached Vaikuntha now. What will the devotee do? Should the devotee again sit with eyes closed and meditate? Or should he help the Vaikunthanatha? Do you get my point? Swamiji was saying that you have come to Vaikuntha. You must help the Vaikunthanatha, the Guru, in all his work. You should not think that you have to now meditate and read this scripture or that scripture. If you find time, it is okay. Or you just simply listen to me. All that you need will come to you. He said, you know what you need? Salokya, Sarupya and Sayujya. What is Salokya? That is remaining in his loka. Remaining in the loka of God. For a devotee, what is Salokya? The loka where God is, or the abode where God is, you also be there. So Salokya was God, because I am already in the ashram at Swamiji's feet. And Sarupya is the characteristics or the lakshanas, the qualities the Guru has or God has. You try to get those qualities. Then you will have Sarupya. You understand? That is the same qualities that God has. The godly qualities you must try to imbibe now. And Sayujya is what? Sayujya is you become like him, you be united with him. That is, you become realized. God realization comes to you. So your life is now this. You try for that. So the days were passing like this. I started thinking that I am hearing so much about the Lord, about God, about the Upanishads, about Yoga Vasishtha. Swamiji taught us many beautiful shlokas which would constantly keep the mind, focused on the self or the soul. But why is it that still the mind is still restless? Mind is not peaceful. Mind is still not having a stability and fixity. I think it is the same with everybody. Everybody's mind is like that. We do not have stability. We always shift from one thought to another. So the mind I used to think that why it is so? What should we do? So I would ask Swamiji how to remember God always, or how to see him everywhere, in everything. I told you that the first Bhagavata shloka that I had heard Swamiji chant is Naham Tavangri Kamalam. Once we came to the ashram when Swamiji would go for lectures, we would go along with him. The first Bhagavata talk, or the talk on bhakti that I heard Swamiji speak on, was on Prahlada. And he was chanting so many beautiful shlokas. He chanted this sloka. Adhokshajalambhamiha shubhatmanah sharirina samsriti chakrashatanam tad brahma nirvana sukham vidurbudhaha tato bhajadhvam hridaye hridishwaram. Adhokshajalambhamiha shubhatmanah sharirina samsriti chakrashatanam tad brahma nirvana sukham vidurbudhaha tato bhajadhvam hridaye hridishwaram. So when I heard this sloka, and Swamiji explained it, Adhokshajalambhamiha shubhatmanah, when one is embraced by God, one feels the embrace of Lord in his own heart. Adhokshaja is Lord Sri Hari. When one has Ananya Bhakti, one-pointed Bhakti, at one time he feels an embrace of the Lord inside his heart. And when Lord enters the heart of a devotee, the heart is purified. However much sinful tendencies was there in that devotee, everything gets removed. And that feeling that the Lord's embrace, I am embraced by the Lord, that Brahma Nirvana Sukham Vidur Budhaha. Budhaha, the wise people, they say that this feeling is Brahma Nirvana Sukham. It is the nirvana, moksha, the bliss out of moksha one gets. So Prahlada is telling that so tato bhajadhvam hridaye hridishwaram. So that is why you should worship the Lord who is Hridayeshwara, who is the Lord of your heart. Where will you worship Him? Not outside, not in idols, never. Always feel His presence in the heart. Worship Him in your heart itself. So this I heard. Then one day he was explaining this sloka, which is very, very beautiful. Kham vayumagnim salilam mahim cha jyotim shisatvani dishodrumadin sarit samudramscha hare shariram yatkincha bhutam pranamedananyah. Kham vayumagnim salilam mahim cha jyotim shisatvani dishodrumadin sarit samudramscha hare shariram yatkincha bhutam pranamedananyah. This one says, it is in Navayogi Nimisamvada. One of the Navayogis is saying, Kham Vayu Magnim Salilam Mahimcha. When we see the sky, Kham is sky, Vayu is wind, Agni is fire, Salilam is water, Mahi is earth. That is the Panchabhuta. When we open our eyes, we are constantly interacting with the Panchabhutas. Kham vayum agnim salilam mahim cha jyotim shi satvani. And when we look into the sky, we see so many stars and planets. Satvani, the beings, disho drumadim. And all the sights, all the directions. Drumadin, plants and trees. Sarit is river, Samudra is ocean or sea. All these things. What are these? He is saying, these are Hare Shariram. This is the body of the Lord. The Lord is everywhere. He is everywhere. He is universal. He is Vishwavyapi. So, when He is so, He is everywhere, everywhere. In human beings, in animals, in birds, in the Panchabhutas, even in this fan, in this pillar, everywhere He is. So, what we should do? He says that wherever we look, wherever our eyes fall, we should think that He is there. And as we do pranam to the idols, we must do pranam wherever our senses fall. This is what he says. So when I started hearing these slokas from Swamiji, I started thinking how to still think about God everywhere. So one day I was asking him, Swamiji, how will I remember God always? How will I see God everywhere? Swamiji was sitting in his room and I had sat on the floor near his feet. Swamiji said, okay, you have come to my room. Whose room you feel this is? As soon as you come to the room, what is the feeling in your mind? I said, I feel that it is Swamiji's room. Okay, when you see that table, what do you think? That is Swamiji's table, I said. What about the bookshelf? That is Swamiji's bookshelf, I said. What about this pen? That is Swamiji's pen, I replied. Then Swamiji said, then what is your problem? When you are looking everywhere, can you not think that this belongs to God and everything is God? Just like in a small room seeing these few items, you are thinking that these are Swamiji's. Can you not think that everything is God? But we are not able to do it. When we don't like somebody, looking at him, we cannot think he is God. So that is the problem. Then I started thinking, what is to be done? How I can be like this? How I can always remember? So I told Swamiji that, Swamiji, it is very difficult to remember God always, because we are doing so many other kind of work. Right from beginning, in those days, we had cows. So there will be a lot of milk coming in. So boiling the milk, taking heavy vessels and taking from one place to another. After milk is boiled, you take the vessels and keep them. I was not given to so much of physical work at all. I have been born in a city like Delhi and grown up in Delhi. So I have not seen a village. When I came to the ashram, I first time saw a firewood oven. And there was no cook. So Swamiji said, can you cook? Do you know how to cook? I said, yes, I know how to cook. But I know how to cook our dishes. I don't know South Indian dishes. So Swamiji said, see, there is a brahmachari. He will teach you some items and you cook. And the brahmachari, I think he also knew the only two items. He taught me one molokutal and one kaya uperi. Either kaya uperi or cabbage uperi. These things he taught me. And he taught me how to light a firewood and cook in the firewood oven. So, firewood oven, I used to cook rice, never cook rice in that manner, big vessel with water in it and rice in it. And when it will be done, the starch has to be poured out. When I would pour out the starch, much of the rice would also pour out with it. So all these difficulties I had to face. And so I told Swamiji that from morning till night I am doing ashram work. So how to remember God? Swamiji sat down wherever I asked him, and he said, just let me find out that sloka. Yadohane abahanane mathanopalepha prenkhenkhanarbharuditokshanamajjanadau gayanti chainamanuraktadhiyoshrukanthyo dhanya brajastriya urukramachittayanah yadohane abahanane mathanopalepha prenkhenkhanarbharuditokshana marjanadau gayanti chainamanuraktadhiyoshrukanthyo dhanya brajastriya urukramachittayanah. This is from 10th Skandha, Sri Krishna's story. It says about what? It is talking about the Gopikas. It says the Gopikas, while they used to milk the cow, or they would be churning buttermilk, or in the morning they will get up and smear cow dung in the courtyard. Their children will be crying. They will be cradling the children and making them stop crying. So many things they would be doing throughout the day, but they never forgot Krishna. They never forgot Krishna. Gayanti chainam anurakta dhiyoshru kanthyo. Gayanti. They used to sing. While doing this work, they would be constantly remembering Krishna, singing his songs, and anurakta dhiyaha. Their mind and buddhi, everything was so full of love for Krishna, and their eyes will be shedding tears of love for Krishna. They are the dhanyaha. They are dhanya, because they could do it. And Swamiji said, if a devotee is a true devotee, one can remember God while doing all kind of work. And this he was telling me when? He was telling me because I asked him, it is very difficult, Swamiji, to remember God always. And when he showed me this, chanted this, and asked me to learn this, and I learned, I used to sing, chant, understanding the meaning of each word. My eyes would get filled, my voice would choke, and I would also think that yes, it can be done. It can be done if there is love. What kind of love? Ananya Bhakti. What is Ananya Bhakti? Bhakti which is unmotivated. I will not want anything from you, O God. I don't want anything. I just want to love you. I just want to serve you. I just want to sing your name. I just want to chant your glory. This should be the devotee. A devotee should be like this. So, in the days that I was spending at the feet of the Guru, I understood, there was a collection of books, Swamiji's collection of books. Even now it is there, and the books have increased and increased and increased. Whatever was there at that time, all the original texts, that is the Sanskrit. Some with English meanings, some only original Sanskrit, some Sanskrit and Malayalam. Malayalam I could not understand. But mind you, I know how to read and write Malayalam. I have learnt it. I learnt it after coming here. Only thing my sorrow is that I cannot speak Malayalam so frequently as to give a talk. So, fluently, I cannot speak. So I used to take out the books whenever Swamiji would be away. At that time, Vyasa Tapovanam was getting built, the Dakshinamurti temple and the various rooms they were getting built. So Swamiji very often used to come here. So those times I will be free and kitchen work would be over. So I would sit near the bookcase, and I was a voracious reader right from beginning. So whatever book I could read, I would read. There I found that 4 volumes of Bhagavata written by Swami Tapasyananda, published by Ramakrishna Mission, and with English meaning. I had read the Bhagavata when Swamiji asked me to read. That was from Gita Press. I found that this one I liked better. So I started reading them. And there were Yuga Vasishta Ramayana was full only Sanskrit. So reading the slokas, many I could not understand. But I found there is the volumes are there where corresponding meanings are there. In those volumes, Sanskrit is not there, only the meanings are there. So I'll take out the English volumes and the Sanskrit volumes and correspondingly find out the meanings and read. Like this, when I thought that I wanted to learn many slokas because Swamiji would chant slokas. So I would tell Swamiji that I want to learn. So Swamiji taught many slokas. But many times, he would just while he is passing by, he will say, see, learn this one. And those will be without seeing any book. Without seeing any book, nothing is there. He will say one line and I have to repeat the other. Repeat. Like this one. Say. Pratyak Brahma Vichara Purvam Bhayorekattva Bodhat Bina Kaivalyam Purushasya Siddhyati Parabrahmatmata Lakshanam Na Snanairapi Kirtanairapi Japaihi No Krishna Chandrayanaihi No Vapyadhvara Yajna Dana Nigamaihi No Mantra Tantrairapi. So without book, he will say one line and scold you if you are not able to repeat it. So like this, some I learned. And some he used to teach us, like every day for the satsangs at night, he will teach us some slokas. So I want to tell you some sloka which which Swamiji told about Krishna. There is a book called Sri Krishna Karnamritam. So in Sri Krishna Karnamritam, Leela Shuka has written it, and it says that he had an idol. Whenever he wrote out a shloka, and that idol, if the idol liked the shloka, he would nod his head. And if he did not like, he will say no. So whichever he liked, Leela Shuka wrote out that. So Leela Shuka wrote many of the shlokas, and so one shloka was this. Kastvam bala balanuja kimihate manmandira shankaya yuktam tannavanita bhanda vivare hastam kimartham nyasehe matah kanchana vatstakam mrigayitum maga vishadam kshanat ityevam varavallavi prativachah krishnasya pushnatunaha. Kastvam bala. Now, Krishna and all the Gopa boys, his friends, they all know that they used to go to the Gopikas' houses and steal makhan, butter. So, one day, while Krishna had just put his hand inside a vessel of butter, the Gopi of that house, she came. And she caught him red-handed. Because they used to go and complain to Yashoda that they are all stealing the butter, and Yashoda would not believe. But this day, this Gopika, she caught him red-handed. Krishna's hand was still in that vessel. So the Gopika is asking, Kastvam, Kahatvam. Who are you? Now, Krishna, poor thing, he has got caught red-handed. So she's asking, Kaha tvam balaha? Kas tvam balaha? So Krishna is not saying, I am Krishna. Because, so he in a very small voice he is saying, Balanujaha. He is saying, he is giving his identity as, I am the brother of Balarama. Not saying that I am Krishna, he is saying I am brother of Balarama. So that Balarama is a good boy. Hearing that, Krishna may be excused. So the Gopika said, Kimihate, why have you come here? Why have you entered my house? He laughed and said, Man mandira shankaya. Oh, why I have come? I thought this is my house. Okay, yuktam, she said. Tan navanita bhanda vivare hastam kimartham nyasehe. Okay, I understood that you have thought that this is your house. But why have you put your hand into that vessel of butter? Matah kanchana vatsakam rigaitum. He said, oh, you are asking why my hand is inside this vessel. Don't you know, we have lost one calf. We are not finding it. So we are looking for it. We have gone everywhere looking for it. I thought the calf may be inside this vessel, so I have put my hand inside. And don't worry, mother. So, these slokas, they end with a line, the Krishna who spoke like this, let that Krishna protect us. Another one was, Matah kim yadunatha dehi chashakam kim tena patum payaha tannastyadya kadasti va nishi nisha kavandhakarodayah amilyakshi yugam nishapyupagata dehiti maturmuhu vaksho jangshuka karshakodiyatakaraha Krishna Sapushnatunah. Krishna has come to the mother. Mother, Mataha, mother. Mother says, what? What, Yadunatha? What happened? Dehi chashakam. Give me a plate. Kim tena. Mother is asking, what will you do with the plate? Patum payaha. Krishna says, I will drink milk in that plate. Tannastyadya. Then mother said, no, this is not the time to drink milk. Tannastyadya. This is not the time to milk. Kadastiva. Then Krishna said, oh, then when is the time to drink milk? The mother says, Nishi. That is at night. At night is the time to drink milk. I will give you milk at that time. He says, Nishakava. That mother, you are saying at night you will give. What is night? So mother says, don't you know? Andhakarodayah. When it becomes dark, then it is night. Amilakshi yugam nishapyupagata. What he did? He immediately closed his eyes and said, it has become andhakara. Now it is night, so give me milk. Amilakshi yugam nishapyupagata. Dehi iti maturmuhu bhaksho jangshuka karshanodyatakaraha Krishna sapushnatunah. So, he, with his stealth and his mischief, what he did? He closed his eyes tightly and said, it has become dark and so it is night, so please give me the plate and give me milk. That Krishna, saying that, he started pulling mother's sari. That Krishna who did like this, let that Krishna protect us. So Swamiji used to say all these things. But I started thinking that to actually realize all these things, to actually be a devotee, to actually be an Ananya Bhakta, what is the method? And understood, as Kapila tells his mother, that when you are in the association of a realized soul, a sadhu, all your attachments will drop off. If you are attached to the world, you will remain attached. But if you are attached to a sadhu, all your other attachments will drop off. And also, when we are in the association of a holy person, all his qualities will come to you. So I started observing my Guru and found that all that is told, Nirapeksha, Nishkinchana Mai Anurakta Chetasaha, Shanta Mahanto Akhila Jiva Vatsalaha, Kamair Analabdha Dhiyo Jushantiyat, Tannairapeksham Navidu Sukham Mama. All these qualities the Guru has. He is Niskinchana. That is, it says, the sloka says, a person who is Nishkinchana, who feels that, who has nothing to call his own except God. That is, he is absolutely relying on God. And who is Shanta, who is Mahan, who is having universal love for everybody, that person will have Nirapeksham Sukham, the Sukha which does not depend on any expectation. All the Sukha that we have, we want it, but depends on objects. So this Sukha which will not depend on any object, that Sukha that person will get. So being near the Guru, that kind of guna one always tries to imbibe. I had asked Swamiji one day that, Swamiji, I want to become like you. So he laughed a lot and he said, what are the qualities that you want from me? I said, Swamiji, your ananda, the ananda that you radiate and the love that you have for everybody. In all our scriptures it says that we should love everybody universally, making no difference. So that love, I find that you are able to give. I find that when villagers come, you talk to them lovingly. When devotees come, you talk to them equally lovingly. There is no difference in your eyes. So I want to love everybody. Swamiji said, whatever quality you want, you love those quality, it will be yours. I will just finish by saying one incident. When I was in the hospital, last year after my hemorrhage, I was in the ICU first and then brought to the room. And when all the nurses, all the attendants, the people who used to bring food to me, the people who used to look out, looking out, making the rooms all right, changing the bed sheets and all that, whoever used to come, I would talk to them something or other, how they are, etc., etc. So there used to be one boy who's, by his talk I could understand he was not a Malayali. I asked him, he said, I am from Nepal. So I talked to him Hindi. He was very happy to talk in Hindi. So I would ask him, how do you feel so far away from home? Do you eat well? Do you sleep well, etc.? So one day he was calling me madam. So with me, Brahmachari Namrata was there. I think she told that don't call madam, say Mataji or Ma or Maji. He said, I will call Mammiji. Mammiji is told in Hindi. Mammiji. Generally in UP, Delhi and all, they will say Mammiji. So he very shyly said, I'll call Mammiji. So after that, he used to call me Mammiji. So every time, whenever he would come, sometimes he would not come also, I would talk to him. And he could not come sometimes because he would be given some other job, other duty in other block. So one day, there was, the food was not all right. All right means we take food without onion, garlic, without masala, without oil, all that, very bland food. So there was something wrong with the food. And this boy, had come running when he heard, and he told me that I'll be here up to 6 o'clock today. The news went to the kitchen also, to the chef also. Then night 8 o'clock the dinner was brought by this boy. The boy's name was Manoj. I said, oh, you didn't go home? You said you will go at 6 o'clock? He said, no. They told me that you know Mataji very well, so you see to it that the food is okay and you take the food yourself. So I am waiting. I said, oh, you waited for 2 hours for me? From 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock? 2 hours you just waited to give me food. You know, he just looked down and very shyly he said, मम्मी जी, आपने मुझे इतना प्यार दिया है, 2 घंटे क्या, मैं तो पूरी रात जग सकता हूँ. That, मम्मी जी, you have given me so much of love, that what about 2 hours? I can wake up the whole night for you. That day I felt that I had prayed to Swamiji, to my Guru, that I should be loving everybody. Maybe this is something that I am understanding. Maybe I have been able to give that love to a person, to a boy whom I don't know at all. I may not meet him at all. That struck. When we are with the Guru, this kind of all the gunas that he has, we can imbibe. This is what I will tell, and I will stop. I myself feel that I have not been able to talk in a flow, but whatever I could speak, I have spoken. For a long time I have not been chanting. I could not chant because I was having headaches. I still have some headaches, but today I could. I am very happy. I always like to talk here, but this time I thought, when I had my hemorrhage, I thought, oh, I will not be able to talk anymore. Maybe, I don't know. So I'll chant a sloka and stop. Adhokshajalambhamiha shubhatmanah sharirina samsriti chakrashatanam tad brahma nirvana sukham vidurbudhaha tato bhajadvam hridaye hridishwaram tato bhajadvam hridaye hridishwaram tato bhajadvam hridaye hridishwaram.